Another banger here, boys, and honestly, I cannot wait to see all the comments below because I am truly torn on this one, but I'm truly excited as well, right? It's Johnny Walker taking on the Bear Jew, Paul Craig, and got to give some props to Johnny Walker. A lot of people, ourselves included, counted him out when he took on the Hulk most recently, and he managed to really get the job done and seemingly quite easy, which was good to see because we hadn't seen that version of Johnny Walker in some time. I mean, he had lost two straight, got smoked by Jamal Hill. It was that floppy fish KO, and got smoked by Thiago Santos before that. Beat Ryan Spann, but that was kind of a YOLO finish, and then had those pretty bad losses to Nikita Krylov and Corey Anderson before that. But nonetheless, it's a guy who had a lot of hype at one point, right? He's 5-4 in the UFC, but he had all those early wins. A lot of people thought this was going to be the guy that challenged then current champ John Jones, and it's just kind of gone the opposite direction. So point being, it's good to see him get it done against a decently tough guy in Iwankute Laba. And Paul Craig, the Bear Jew, is another guy. It's tough to really assess, right? He's 8-5-1 in the UFC and started his career 0-2, then got absolutely smoked for 14 minutes and 59 seconds versus Magomed Ankalaev before he threw up his seemingly patented triangle choke and managed to submit Magomed in the final second of the final round. And it honestly saved Paul Craig's career. It saved his UFC deal. And since then, he's picked up some pretty solid wins along the way, right? I mean, this is a guy who took out Kennedy Nzechukwu. He took out Shogun Rua, and that was a pretty controversial decision nonetheless, but a win on the record for sure. And then most recently, the guy at the top of the card, Jamal Hill, and Nikita Krylov after that. So he is coming in off a recent loss over No Time Uzdemir, but I don't know, it's just tough to assess. Like, what version of the Bear Jew are you going to get? Because that version we saw against No Time Uzdemir most recently was not great, right? He looked very slow. It seemingly was not his night. And in this one, both Meat and I, you see Meat's pick at the bottom. You won't bury the lead there, but your boy's going to go with Johnny Walker as well. I actually think that at minus 170, there's some decent value here for Johnny. And Paul Craig just looked very slow. He's always had those pillow hands, and I think, and maybe this is a stretch because it's Johnny Walker, but I think Johnny Walker is going to have the requisite fight IQ to not engage on the ground. I mean, for as long as Paul Craig is on the feet, Johnny Walker is going to have an advantage, right? He's going to have the quickness, the striking advantage. His leg kicks should probably play a factor into this one. Maybe even we see one of those YOLO knees that he demonstrated really in his early UFC tenure. But I think that as long as Johnny Walker implements a similar game plan as what Volkan Oezdemir just did, which is make sure this thing stays on the feet, stuff any takedowns, I think that Johnny can get this done because we've seen from Paul Craig, while yes, he is super dominant from his back, he's one of those rare guys who on the mat is quite dangerous. He's not a strong wrestler, and it's tough for him to get guys down, and he struggled mightily against Oezdemir, so we kind of think that he's going to struggle with that takedown offense against Johnny Walker as well. So 54% is rolling with Johnny Walker, 46% is rolling with Craig, so the community is pretty split. There's a lot of guys going both ways. Most going with Johnny think that YOLO KO is most likely, and then unsurprisingly, the Paul Craig backers think that the submission is most likely. But in this one, we're both going Johnny Walker. We both think that he's actually going to get a finish in this one, but it wouldn't be the most surprising thing if it's a 15-minute decision similar to the one we just saw him in against Volkan. But nonetheless, we love the energy that Johnny Walker's bringing at weigh-ins. He seems focused, seems dialed in, seemingly ready to go on another run. But again, it's tough to trust either of these guys. So let us know in the comments down below. Are you going to roll with Johnny Walker, or is Bear Jew just going to get a submission and it's going to be easy work? Let us know.